I got a 5-pack of stats that I think you guys need to know for this weekend's game against the Detroit Lions. 2 of the stats we talked about last week, by the way, came to exact fruition as how the game played out. So hopefully we can do a little predictive nature with these ones as well. The first stat you need to know is pressure, pressure, and pressure. Against Green Bay, the Browns had 22 pressures. Jordan Love was pressured on 45.2% of his dropbacks. That's the highest of his career. Now that translates into this game because Jared Goff is 2 completely different quarterbacks versus pressure versus not being pressured. You could say this about a lot of quarterbacks, but very few have the dramatic difference between their QBR, which encapsulates everything, when they're pressured versus when they're clean. When Goff's been kept clean in the pocket, he is the number 2 QBR in the entire NFL through 3 games. When he's been pressured, that QBR drops to 26th. That 24 drop, small sample size, 3 games, I understand, is the biggest differential between any quarterback in football this season. So if you're the Browns, got to get pressure, especially with that front 4.
That's an interesting stat, and it is telling. Yes, most quarterbacks are going to be worse under pressure, but the fact that he's 2nd and 26th, that's massive incredible difference. Yeah. So that is important, and obviously the Browns, as we recognized by last week, got a lot of pressure. Really, this is the toughest challenge the Browns have faced in terms of an offensive line, and so it'll be fascinating to see who can win those battles in the trenches because you got 2 excellent units battling against each other.
That's where the game's going to be won and lost, I think.
Yeah, sure.
When the Browns defense is on the field and how they stack up with that offensive line, can we control the run game again? We've got a 2-headed monster back there and 2 running backs this time, not a quarterback and a running back.
The Browns will win 0 games this year when their D-line doesn't dominate. 0. Anybody want to disagree with that?
Dominate is a very tough word to say in the league. Like, dominate is like
play well.
Yeah.
Play very well, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If they can't pressure Goff, they're gonna get smoked in this game.
When you got an offense like that is very varied on the way that they line up, the way that they run the ball, the way they use motion, the way they use play action and move in the line, it's difficult to just pin your ears back and run because there's so many things that you got to worry about. They got a good screen game with Jahmyr Gibbs. They can throw the ball out quick screens to Jamison Williams. They run between the tackles. They can run zone. They do a lot of things where it keeps defensive linemen thinking, like, I can't just run upfield and get after the quarterback because there's some other things I got to honor. So it's a tough matchup. The Browns are a great front. I'm interested to see how they'll handle themselves against this front in offensive line versus defensive line. But it's a tough battle for a reason, right? They're at home. That's why I'm going to get a chance to see just how good they is this game, right?
Hey, Mike, one more time. 2nd in a clean pocket. What was it? What was
26th.
26th.
I'd be curious to know who's number 1 under pressure. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'll pull it up.
Oh, do you have it that quickly?
It's just the rankings of the quarterbacks under pressure.
The
I'm
top
just
3 or
noticing
5.
the mic in the corner there with the nuggets.
we had to make it a little more.
I like that.
But just keep filibustering for
Who
a while.
would you think it would be?
Lamar.
I would say Lamar.
It's
Josh
in general,
Allen, I think,
but
Mahomes, Lamar.
because it's only 3 games, it's
Yeah,
skewed.
no, you're right.
Yeah,
I guess it was
going
going to be more like last year or the last couple of years.
Right.
I would think the usual suspects. Normally Patrick, but boy, he's been really bad under
Yeah.
pressure this year. But to me, Lamar and Josh would be your likely suspects. I think they'd be pretty high.
It's probably
up the list.
some name you'd never Baker
Right.
or something that you wouldn't.
Listen, he's been great in late
I
game
know.
situations
I know.
this year.
Yeah.
Like that was the bugaboo with him here.
Absolutely.
He couldn't win in the 4th quarter. In fact, he usually threw the interception that
He usually
sunk the
cost
ship.
him, yeah.
And now it's like they get into a 4th quarter situation, and everybody on the team.
Yep.
I watched some clips of
I got your answer,
Bucks
Jason.
interviews this week, and they were like, "We're comfortable down a score late in the game." With
I
Baker."
wonder-
and that would never have been said here.
This will be interesting for them this week. Mike Evans is out for a while, and they're playing Philly. It'll be interesting to see how they
And
go.
Godwin's still out.
What do you got, Mike?
Yeah.
So this is, according to PFF, this is a quarterback's EPA per dropback based on where they start versus under pressure. Only 2 quarterbacks last year. I'm not taking this year. Too small a sample size.
Okay.
Only 2 quarterbacks in football had a better EPA per dropback under pressure than in a clean pocket. You
This
wanna
is
guess
last
the 2?
year?
This is last
Yeah.
year. And this should not be a surprise.
Allen and
Lamar and
Lamar.
Josh.
Yep, the only two in football with a better
thing.
EPA under pressure.
Better
I know
under
you said
pressure.
small sample size this year, but are they? Who's the top 3 this year? Are they even
I
near
have
it?
to sort it player
Oh,
by
okay.
player, team by team.
Yeah,
I found a
that's not
chart
worth
that
it.
they put out of last year.
That's not worth it. Then.
But it's interesting. After that, then it goes into the negatives. Who had the third, even though it's a negative differential, the
Third best.
Yeah.
best differential
Right.
is Baker.
There you go.
Go
I
figure.
wouldn't be surprised by that.
Some guys who were not good: Geno Smith, C.J. Stroud, Daniel Jones, and last year Jared Goff once again in the bottom 5. Or I guess
CJ
6.
surprises me, although I guess he wasn't great last year. That surprises me a little bit. I thought he'd be.
Yeah, he took a real step back
Better.
and hasn't taken a step
Yeah,
in the
it's-
right direction.
I
this
still
year.
believe in him.
I do too.
I believe.
I
in that
believe.
guy.
I believe he'd be
I take
okay.
him.
Yeah.
I take him.
But
I
there
give
has
picks up
definitely
on
been
him.
that we saw the sophomore slump, and even more so, I think we're seeing sometimes they just hit a wall that
Yeah.
they can't knock over.
I'm taking him, Golf, whatever. Give me anybody.
Well, I have a Flacco under pressure stat coming, so we'll get to that in a
Joe
second.
Flacco's having a
Oh, it's got to be terrible.
senior drop off.
When we talk about the Browns pass
Senior
rush, we
slump.
always give Myles Garrett the most credit, and it's 100%
senior
deserved.
drop-off.
He's the head of the snake when it comes to the pass rush. But so far this year, it hasn't just been Myles. The entire Browns defensive line has been awesome. Look at their pass rush win rates against Green Bay from last week. Myles
Mason Graham,
46,
43.
which was awesome. Mason Graham was at 43. Seth Walder of ESPN pointed out that the average pass rush win rate for a defensive tackle is 9%. Against Green Bay, Mason Graham was up to 43.
That's unbelievable.
Malik Collins at 33%. And I want to give Tyvis a shout out. Speaking of Malik Collins, you see this graphic on the screen right here? These are through week 3. This does not include last night's game. The highest pass rush win rates among all interior defensive linemen in football.
Wow.
Look at that. You have 3 defensive tackles on that list who have been all pros before. Dexter Lawrence, arguably the best defensive tackle in football. Matabike, Pro Bowler last year. Simmons has been incredible in Tennessee. Osa
That's
Ogunjigba
amazing.
has been good. None of them have been better at generating pressure from the interior than Malik Collins this season through 3 games. So just wanted to give Chivas a shout out. It's
Nah,
not just Myles Garrett.
nah,
That whole defensive line's been awesome.
Nah. We're gonna have to strip that metal bull. Get it ready. I was surprised you didn't strip this earlier.
Why?
Those pass rush run rates look beautiful. But I'd like to know what the pass rush win rate is when you get 101s every play. When you are catching 101s with a guard and you're a defensive lineman, there was a play, there's multiple plays where this man has 3 dudes on him. 3. Bull said something the other day, and I'm not stripping your medals because I think Malik Collins is a good player. I like what Mason Graham is doing. But it's almost like being like, hey, man, you get a lot of open shots when LeBron is playing. Of course
That's right.
you are. All
Yeah.
you got to do is sit right in that corner, and you don't move, JR, Shumpert, and hang out. Myles Garrett be having, now it goes to 2. I saw a tight end in this game straight up just have Myles Garrett. They're like, it's you guys double teaming. You have no routes. There's no chip and release. You have him.
I know, but I think the difference is it's been that way for years with the Browns.
Nah,
I mean,
I ain't seen no 3.
he
Right,
leads the league every year in double teams.
Yeah, Malik Collins has done a better job
Than
the
our
D
other
tackles,
guys.
and
Yes.
so is Mason Graham.
Yes.
Yes.
But G's still right. Part of
Yeah.
the reason for their success is because of Myles
Right,
Garrett.
and what
He's
I'm
so
pointing
dominant.
out is
The
it's
Browns
been
played a
that
lot
way
of guys
for
who
years
couldn't make that
here.
open shot.
It's been that way for years here, and nobody else was willing
Right,
to
agreed.
eat like he is. So he gets credit for this. He's finally taken advantage of what all the guys previous to him did not take advantage of.
If you
That's
are
right.
getting single, and it's a different mindset, right? They shuffled through a lot of different people and figured it out. But when you got the dude over there, he's telling them too, hey, listen, you're supposed to be killing. You got to eat. If it's just, and I've never heard this to myself. Listen, the Packers said this, and I was baffled. When he said there's a list of plays that I'm not even gonna run,
Yeah, no 95 on the field plays.
I'm like, bro, that's half. What do you mean? That's 2 different game plans.
Well, it's like what I said on Monday. I remember when offenses used to say, "Okay, we're not throwing a D on side.
Yeah,
we're just
nothing.
we're not doing it."
It's
And
just
that
not.
was rare then because these guys all have egos.
Right.
They're like, "Okay, fine, mano a mano. Your best versus our best." Dion was so good, they were just like, "Yep, nope, not throwing on that side."
Can't run no
so that
plays.
cut the field in half.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Myles Garrett, and I don't think Green Bay is dumb for doing that. By the way, when
It
Myles
almost
is
worked.
not on the field, they should have a list of plays that let's go eat. because he's on the sidelines.
Now,
Every
right-
team should
now,
do that.
Now, granted, McNuggets, I'm going to give Mason Graham credit. Hey, you get the one-on-one, take advantage of it. I'd rather you have 43 than 12.
Right.
Give me the
And 12
43.
still above average.
It's
What
still
were the
12,
Browns?
right?
What were the rest of the Browns' pass rush win rates last year, Mike? Is that easy to find?
Oh, God.
I'd have to dive deep into that, but I can get you the answer.
We'll do
During
it.
the-
I feel
team
it.
show.
I feel it
Without
went
looking,
good.
I'll tell
I feel
you,
it went
not
nice.
good.
Probably not good.
The eye test, not good.
I'll tell you, Myles Garrett was good. No one else on the defensive line really stepped up. All right, next stat, though. We're going to flip the script here. We talked about the Browns pressuring the Lions. Well, this is the opposite of that. The Browns' offensive line this year, according to ESPN's pass blocking and run blocking win rates, tell a story of two tales. They're league average in run block win rate. They are 29th in pass block win rate. We talked about Jared Goff having the 26th worst PFF grade against pressure. Well, Flacco's QBR this season under pressure is literally 3.3.
Is that possible?
Is that the worst? That's got to be the worst,
It
right?
is dead last in the NFL by a large margin.
Oh my
What's
God!
the
And
next
we
one?
talked
Well,
about
you
the
take the worst line and the slowest quarterback.
we talked about the Browns
get?
having 22 pressures against the Packers. Against Lamar last week, the Lions had 30 pressures and 7 sacks.
Uh-oh.
So it's a defensive line that can get after
Uh-oh.
it.
They sacked
Against
Lamar 7 times.
7 sacks on Monday.
Lamar took a lot of crazy
Holy moly.
sacks too. He just a couple times just ran directly in the other direction, thinking that he would eventually get out of it, and he didn't.
Wow.
The ends for Detroit are deceptively fast because Lamar has made a lot of those guys that ended up getting him down on Monday look silly in the past for trying to chase him down.
Absolutely.
And they got him. So
Okay.
What?
Go ahead, Bull.
Did I miss something?
Point this out. Like,
No.
listen. He said, listen.
G knows why I'm laughing.
because Aiden Hutchinson's white.
Yeah, they're deceptively fast. No, he's pretty fast. He's just fast. Yeah.
Deceptively
need to
fast.
say
deceptive.
In other words, he's white, so you don't think he's fast.
Anybody
Well, I'm
who's-
just saying deceptively
anybody who's
fast to
fast
catch
and white, it has to be
catch
deceptive.
It's
Lamar.
like the fast wide receiver that's white.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Those guys are always the
Lad
hardest
Lad
workers.
McConkey is.
You know what
pretty
else I
fast.
heard about it?
First
You know what
in,
else I
last
heard?
out.
Great route runners.
Real gritty.
Great
Heady.
route runners.
First guy in, last guy out. You say that?
Yeah.
I did, yeah. First guy in. Belichick loves him.
Man, listen, man. Just
Special teams works his butt off.
Just intangibles,
Has anybody destroyed
man.
his reputation more at the end of his career than Bill Belichick?
No, I've never seen it. It's a great point, Bull.
OJ.
Well,
Yeah, that's the winner.
This is
No,
how.
that's the
Yo,
no, I
that's
think,
it.
no, I think what he was not talking about his human reputation.
Yeah.
gotta
think
say,
he's talking
I had to
about
shake your
his-
hand, buddy.
Jason,
I had to-
that's the line
I
of
had
the
to
day.
shake your. Yes,
It is.
that's
Of
the
the day.
greatest fall from grace we've ever seen.
To Bull's question,
Bill
like
Cosby.
As a coach or as a player, no, and that's saying something because
Yeah.
a lot of guys hang on way too
Yeah.
long, way too long.
He looks like a doddering old
There
fool
is
at this point.
there was somebody sent me a video. This is sick. If you really want to get a good laugh, Google David Lee Roth concert. This dude's still out there doing concerts, okay? And someone sent me this clip this morning, and I swear to you, I thought it was fake. I'm like, that's not real. He's wearing really tight black leather pants, and he looks like a senior citizen. He is.
Yeah.
But all I could think of in my mind was Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Bill on Tuesday nights.
And how hard it is to watch
tight leather pants.
the GOAT. And he's down there, and this
And
is
the
probably bad
girlfriend's
to
on the
say.
field with him.
Those are the clips that are most infuriating to me because this was a guy who tolerated. He didn't want players having relationships.
But listen,
He didn't want girlfriends. He didn't want wives. You never ever would bring up a girlfriend or a wife.
Right.
And now his girlfriend is on the
So let me.
I know.
Let me
Well,
just
she's
show you.
she's one of the cheerleaders. I think.
Let
now.
me show you. How old is
no,
Bill?
but she almost is.
72?
So,
Excuse me.
so Bill is
72, right?
Bill is 72.
He could be older than
Yeah.
Bill is
72 or
72.
73. It's one of those. Start looking up.
So let me just give you a perspective.
Yeah, dating the girl at Young's disgusting.
When you
But go ahead.
73, by the way.
when you oh yeah, when
I just
you
give him
70
too much credit.
I mean, when you 73,
She's like 23.
24.
You 73. There's a.
He was 51 when she was born.
It's a level where you cross, and that commercial where you say you turn into your parents.
Yeah, I love those commercials.
Those
Oh, they're
commercials
great.
are
They're great.
factual. You literally, as the eldest son, have to start doing things. I told mom, "Hey, Dad can't drive after a certain time at night. I put the restrictions on. Hey,
you dropped that hammer already.
yeah, you can't. He can't drive at night like
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
You daytime driving. Going different places. Be like, hey, listen, you know your volume is kind of high. My mom's volume got high because she can't hear in one ear.
Yeah.
My dad's volume got lower because he can't see in one eye. So when you doing all this, they only 70. My mom's 68. He's 70. Bill Belichick is out here trying to coach up young men with his girlfriend on the sideline. At this point, he's supposed to be tucked away drinking warm coffee and milk. He's supposed to be somebody. Listen, there's people that be like literally almost be having to go to the retirement home in Florida and Fort Lauderdale. He ain't got no business coaching out there.
Real quick, the best. This is not hyperbole to me. The best Saturday Night Live sketch I've ever seen. Meet Your Future Wife. Just YouTube it.
How old was it?
Unbelievable. It was the Polar era.
Okay.
So not that old, and it's like
The Polar era?
I forgot
Amy
her name.
Poehler.
Amy Poehler. Yeah. It was her and the brunette. I forgot her name.
Yeah,
they were the
Tina
co-hosts.
Fey.
I'll just give you a little.
They're funny together.
It is the best sketch I've ever seen on Saturday Night Live, where they have this man and his wife is in the audience, and they say, "Well, you're going to die in a fire," and here's his future wife, and a 5-year-old walks out.
Oh wow!
It is.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you,
That's
is
crazy.
Well, by the time Bill was 51
Well,
when she
if
was
he's
born.
49, right? Because if she's 24, he's 73, but still, I
It's
mean, whatever.
disgusting.
Yeah.
It's gross.
How old
I mean,
is-
I'm
wait,
49 right now.
She's 70. He's 73.
Yeah, and she's
She's
24. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 49.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay.
Some say he went
That's-
out like a G. He went out. He's like, listen, I done wasted a lot of time, but I'm gonna make this one count.
If that
Yeah.
were, if that were my daughter, I'm taking it back to Belichick.
Well, let's not advocate that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
All right, next stat you guys got to know for Sunday to avoid
We should.
any
I
issues.
mean, take my 24-year-old
and that
daughter.
was the episode
I'll
of
just thank God I don't
Sopranos.
have daughters.
Thank you,
Stat
Tony.
number 4, guys. We're going to talk a little more about Quinshawn and the TV show. These are some stats that will help give a little context to the conversation we are going to have. The Browns ranked 29th in the NFL this season in yards before contact per rush. All these stats come from ESPN's Next Gen Stats. Actually, I think it's Amazon's Next Gen Stats. The NFL powers that. They're averaging 0.57 yards before their runner gets contacted. However, they're ranked 6th in the NFL in yards after contact at 3.43. And Quinshawn Judkins, despite playing in just 2 games, qualifies with the amount of carries he has, ranks number 1 in the league in the amount of yards after contact per carry at 5.14. So the line not holding up. They're getting hit early. But it's not just been Judkins. He's been the majority of it. But both Sampson and Ford have done a pretty good job making the first guy miss and extending after that initial contact.
You know what's weird to me? And Garrett, maybe you can explain this. If they are league average in run block, how are they that bad at contact? They're 29, like one of the worst
15th
teams.
in run block win rate and 29th in
That
yards
doesn't
before
make sense to
contact.
me.
I wonder if one is subjective and the other is a finite number.
Maybe.
Because
That's true.
so here's the thing: you can win. Like okay, I blocked this. I don't know what goes into win rate. Like,
Right. See, that's the thing.
Like I blocked,
guys
especially
might
for
grade the
running.
same
Because
player.
that's really, if you give me those numbers, that's actually an indictment on Judkins.
Yeah.
That you're getting hit
It
that
is.
early. If the run blocking is supposed to be league average, why are you getting hit so early?
Say for instance, you block a guy, but you don't get no movement downfield. So you block him, but he sheds you in 2 seconds and makes
Yeah.
a tackle.
Yeah, do you win the block rate?
How do you,
like,
Yeah.
it's
No,
just
that's-
so subjective. That's
where
why I
you
always
are.
say,
Well,
with PFF,
plus-
I always, it's a grain of salt.
Another part of this also is that if you're playing the Browns right now, the only thing you're worried about is the run.
Is the run.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And so you might have extra guys up. So the offensive linemen might all win their blocks.
That's
and
actually
the
a good
6th
point.
guy might come
Yeah.
up
Yeah,
and make the
that's-
first hit.
that's
They're
actually
running
a good
into a
point.
ton of, or they could be running into a ton of 8-man boxes.
And it's about to get nastier. Like if I'm a defensive coordinator, there is no way that I'm letting a rookie running back. You can stop the run. It's just numbers. It's just can you count to 10, right?
Yeah.
Like I could put more people up there. I could shoot gaps. We could do a lot of things to stop Quinshawn Judkins. So now
Maybe one of our receivers could get open if they did that.
well, there's a nice thought, Jay.
Yeah, so run.
But you're
Run.
gonna have you have to do it in a way where they're not sitting on the stuff that they like to run, right? It's just football is a game of it's a very easy game, but there is some strategy to it. But it's just all about the numbers. So hopefully we'll see if he can still continue to break some of these runs with larger people and numbers in the box.
Imagine what he could do with a great run block line. Like, I do think we're sitting on something special here.
Oh, he's legit.
I think he's
Judkins
special.
is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last stat you guys got to know. When it is 3rd down and the Browns are on defense, Jared Goff is looking to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has 20 catches this season. 16 of those have gone for first down. So I was curious to say that's 75%. How does that rank not just among the NFL, but going back throughout the rest of the season? My math is wrong.
4 out of
80%.
5.
It's even better than I thought. When you look at his previous seasons, though, the number's higher, and you're going to see 75 on the graphic because my math is terrible. But imagine it said 80%.
Imagine if you will.
24, 23, and 22, he was at 63, 64% of his receptions. 73 of 115 and 24, 75 of 119 and 23, 68 of 196 and 22. Since 2021, going even the year before this, Amon-Ra has the most targets, the most receptions, and the most yardage on third down, converting third downs into first downs. There is no better, I don't say no better receiver. No receiver that gets more opportunities and no quarterback that looks to one individual receiver more on those money downs than Jared Goff does to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So on third down, whether it's Denzel Ward, whether it's Greg Newsome, if he's in the slot, which he lines up,
third down.
He lines up in a ton in the slot. On third down, you know where the lines are looking.
I want 21 on Brown every third down.
That ain't gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
It won't, but I still want it.
What's particularly impressive about that is that he's been doing it for years, and nobody can stop him.
Right. I think the 75 or 80 this year is
it's small sample size.
Obviously small sample size.
Right, but
he'll
still
regress to the mean, which apparently is 63.5% or somewhere
which
in
is
there.
pretty,
which is great.
Fantastic.
I mean, it's great. But
he's finished in the top 5 each of those 4 years, or he's in the top 5, and then 2021 in most first down receptions, targets, and when you add it all together over that 5-year span, like I said,
what a weapon!
Most yards, catches,
what a
and
weapon!
targets.
When you've got that reliable third down guy that you can keep the sticks moving, that's why the Lions have had one of the best offenses over the last couple of years.
And remember, the Browns took Anthony Schwartz over him in the 3rd round.
Oh my God!
You had to do
I'm
it.
done. I'm done.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm supposed to trust these guys to get the quarterback right.
I'm sorry.
I'll be every
They did
time
draft well this year. That's the only hope.
Hey, you go back you take a step forward. That and the Tristan Wirfs thing gets me every time. So here's the thing. I like what they do.
Jeez.
I like spamming stuff. Until you stop me, I'm gonna spam that. I'm going to continue to send you junk email. I'm going to continue to send you all kind of text messages. Hey,
wait, are you sending me spam?
Yeah, listen, they get me. I got to get you. They got to get me.
Fair.
It's fair. Only fair. Now, that spam that they doing with Amon-Ra St. Brown is beautiful because they understand he's not a 6'5" outside, long, deep receiver. You know what they do? They said, all right, well, listen, most of these dudes want to put their corner at the boundary or follow people around. Good luck following them because we're gonna get him all in the slot. We're going to move around. He's going to be on linebacker and nickelbacks. Can you imagine what he looks like when he's running over the middle and it's a linebacker and some little nickel guy? He's doing this the whole time. And then they mess you up because they throw Jamison Williams out and they say, hey, he's fast. You better guard him. Oh, and they got another tight end that's patrolling the middle too.
Yeah.
That's a threat to run corner routes, to run big time routes downfield. So he's getting.
And Gibbs is one of the best pass catching backs.
So now you got to guard the flats. The screen game can come, and every single time they give you all of that other stuff, and then throw in a little sprinkle of motion over the top with some herb and garlic seasoning, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is just running wide open. You're like, who's guarding him? And they're like, well, coach, we have to honor the rest of this stuff. And he just continues to kill you.
Yeah.